Hey everyone, Matt here and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. In the last video we completed Volume 6, and in this video we will complete Volume 7 of Business Flagrantly Illegal. Flagrantly Illegal. I can't speak these fancy words they have. Ever since you were a kid back on Earth, you have always held the deep, close wish to one day travel the world. You always wanted to see new places, experience exciting new tastes and altitudes and temperatures, maybe go scuba diving. You never imagined you would actually get the chance. That kind of cool stuff didn't happen to someone like you. Well, you're finally getting your wish. It's just a totally different world. Funny how life turns out. When you get back to Earth, well, you don't want to think about that. Who knows if it will ever even happen. You have really chilled out recently, found your place in the universe, drifting from friend to friend, adventure to adventure. It's the only way to live. Remele, Namak, and Konyyl Okima. Well, Remele. You've wandered into a part of town that seems to have some culture going on. There are a lot of bright neon lights, and you can't read what the signs say, but you can see arcades, a performance space, and what looks like a movie theater, perhaps more indie-oriented compared to the mall cinemas you've seen before. As you continue wandering, you come across a trendy-looking building with a placard outside that shows a little cartoon doodle of a fancy waiter holding out trays of snacks. You can't read what the words say, but you recognize the intergalactic signal for free food inside. Come on in. You head inside, and it appears to be an art gallery. It must be opening tonight because there are festive decorations up and a little table offering drinks and hors d'oeuvres. There are many other art appreciators here, and your adrenaline spikes when you realize that most of the trolls milling around are purple bloods. You're not sure if some paintings and snacks are worth the high chances of being maimed when chaotic violence breaks out, but as you're debating the merits of free food versus probable injury, someone approaches you. Oh, Jesus. I've seen people do a French accent voice, potato, for Remele, and I'm not good at that, but I want to try and mimic it. You don't look like my other patrons. Are you lost? Or are you perhaps looking to start collecting? If you're loaded, ignore that first question. Art is for everyone, after all, regardless of your blood color. The four black pupils in her eye glint and sparkle, and you're not sure yet if it's a menacing or friendly sparkle. She grins at you and shows all her teeth. So, what do you think of the art? Have any paintings caught your eye? You look around. You don't know much about art, but you are a nerd, and a lot of the paintings in here remind you of scenes from popular movies and games back home. The artwork is stunning. Perhaps the best I've ever seen. Troll Mona Lisa who? Haha, stop. You flatterer. She puts a hand on her hip and winks at you, and you're guessing here that she doesn't actually want you to stop. You're also making the connection that she must be the artist who painted all of these. You sense an opportunity for friendship, so you lay it on thick and gush about how talented she is. Huh, I thought you looked like a dumbass when you walked in, but you have good taste after all. Let me show you around. You follow Remele through the gallery, swinging by the table with the free food first. It's pretty good by the standards you've come to expect on Alternia, but what you thought was wine at first glance is actually Fago. No thanks. You may have noticed some themes in my exhibited work. I don't love clowns or gore as much as it may seem. That's just what I have for sale here. If you look at my work online, you'll see more of the full range of my art. But for this fancy gallery shit, Purple Bloods are some of my best customers. Those clowns fucking love art. They're rich as fuck, and they'll buy anything as long as it's violent enough or features religious themes. You've seen the kind of destruction and mayhem that Purple Bloods are capable of, so you're surprised that she doesn't seem to mind being in a crowded gallery with so many of them. Most other trolls you've interacted with have done their best to steer clear of the clown murder cult guys, at least when one of those hate romance relationships isn't on the table. Isn't it kind of dangerous to actively court them for our audience? Oh sure, they can be unpredictable, and keeping them happy requires some schmoozing. Occasionally I have to pretend like I've drunk the Figo and pull some religious references out of my ass. But it's nothing I can't handle. You can make a lot more money as an artiste if you're not choosy about what you draw. One of my customers is this blue blood moron who only ever commissions me to draw low bloods in quadrants with other low bloods. I've got him convinced I'm giving him a deal on his rate when he's actually paying 5 times what I charge anyone else. My point is... artistry? Artistry? My point is, artistry integrity is for chumps. If you want to go ahead in this... If you want to get ahead in this world, give the people what they want first. That strikes you as a depressing outlook on the creative process, but you're aware by now that idealism on Alternia tends to lead to shorter lifespans. And you have to admit, looking around at the crowd in this gallery, that her cynical approach seems to be working. You tell her that she sounds pretty business savvy in addition to talented, and she winks at you again. Thanks, I know. Because I make bank doing shit like this, I'm able to find my passion projects. You should really check out my webcomic. But before you can find out what her webcomic is about, she notices another troll that has been sidling up to you. She approaches, she whips out what looks like a small recording device with a smile. Remele's face goes carefully blank and she crosses her arms over her chest. And how can I help you? Journo. Ah yes, hello there, Miss Nemak. I'm with Alternia Nightly, and I must say, it looks like your first ever gallery exhibit has been a smashing success so far. Journalists, a syrupy tone and innocuous words don't seem threatening to you, but you're picking up on some tense vibes from Remele, whose hair ribbon swings forward in front of her face aggressively. Of course it's a success. I never expected otherwise. Maybe not, but some in the art world have expressed surprise at the timing of this. Some have called it bold, considering that you're currently in the middle of a plagiarism controversy. Would you care to comment on the case against you by Trident Media? Instead of being caught off guard by the question sprung on her, Remele relaxes and laughs. Oh, that... as if they have any kind of real evidence that I'm violating their precious intellectual property. Other characters I draw and profit from are entirely original, and Trident Media and their legislator are just mad about it because the whole internet knows that my storylines are better than the source material. Oops, I mean, better than the unrelated creative works that my comics happen to bear a superficial resemblance to. Feel free to quote me on that. The court takes the quote and skulls away. Remele seems unbothered, but you can't help but feel concerned for her. Copyright infringement is serious business. Is her new friend in legal hot water? Nah, Alternia barely has any copyright protections to speak of. It's just that little pest Gorjek trying to stir up shit as usual. The company behind his lawsuit wouldn't even care if he hadn't gotten involved. It's no big deal, nothing I can't handle. You go back to following her around the gallery, keeping your distance whenever a purple blood comes up to compliment her on her work. You can tell that despite her confident attitude, Remele is still thinking about that journalist. She taps her foot and frowns at the paintings. Whenever there's a lull in conversation, throwing glances at the door that the journalist just left through. You know, it's not like Alternia has a free pass or credible newspapers. That reporter was probably hired by someone with a grudge to dig up dirt on me. I don't think it was Gorjek, actually. Too obvious. Amateurish. No, this stinks of my competition. The that word again. The artistique establishment that thinks all I do is fan art and shouldn't be taken seriously as an artiste. All their paintings are in the museum across the street, and they hate that I've managed to put up my own exhibit. Those stuck-up, pretentious bulge scrubs have been trying to sabotage me for so long. She turns to you, her hand balled up into fist and the X in her eye flashing with passion. I've been waiting for the opportunity to strike back at them. If everyone is gonna accuse me of being a thief and a hack anyway, I might as well steal from them for real. But their security is tight, and I haven't had an accomplice, until now. What do you say? Want to help me pull off a risky art heist? Yes, fuck yes, and hell fucking yes. Remele does one last round in her exhibit, saying goodbye to her patrons and grabbing her bag, which seems to be mostly art supplies, as you head out the door and onto the street. The museum that she wants to rob is at the end of the block, in a much bigger, fancier building than the one you just walked out of. All the lights are off inside, and it doesn't have any signs advertising current exhibits. We can do this one of two ways. Follow that journalist and steal the keys if she has them, or break in without them. Fuck it, let's steal keys. You would much rather walk through an unlocked door than try and bust it down, and the reporter is still in sight, turning a corner down the street. Try to imitate Remele's casual yet confident way of walking, like she could blend in anywhere and pull off anything. But despite your efforts to not attract suspicion, you keep getting looks. Not being the same species as everyone around you tends to make you stand out. Shit, this could be a problem. I can put together a disguise for you. Hang on. You watch as she starts pulling things from her bag. She seems to have all sorts of things in there, from paintbrushes to blobs of clay to paint. And do you think she might be putting together some fake horns for you from scratch real quick? Before she can finish, you realize that one of the purple bloods about to walk into Remele's gallery is staring at you. He looks vaguely familiar, and you realize a little too late where you've met before when he starts walking towards you. You, I remember you. You broke into my apartment. It's the same troll that you and Polypa escaped from. You back away as he advances, a lazy grin on his face. Remele glances from him to you and back to him again. Well, fuck. Looks like I'm not going to have an accomplice after all. Sorry, pal. She hoists her bag over her shoulders and shrugs her hands in a what can you do gesture. Then she's gone, the big purple blood paying her no mind as she absconds. You want to feel betrayed, but it's hard to blame her considering how scary this guy is. In your heart, you know that you're dead already, but you're not going to accept your fate without attempting to prevent it. You make a mad dash to escape, sprinting towards a skinny alleyway and thinking that maybe you can scamper up a fire escape or something. Unfortunately, your attacker size doesn't seem to slow him down, and you can hear his heavy footfalls right behind you. He laughs, and it somehow sounds dopey and dumb and completely terrifying at the same time. You make it to the alley, but you fucked up because it's a dead end, and you don't see anything you could use to clamber to high enough ground. You turn to face him, hopelessness sinking down to your toes. Your scrappy alien tenure on this hazardous new planet is about to come to a messy end. Purplehead swings his massive club lazily in one hand as he approaches you, not bothering to run anymore. You drop into a fighting crouch, trying to think back to your 3rd grade karate lessons for any moves that might be useful. But before he can crush your skull in, you see a flash of movement behind him. He staggers, dropping club as something hits him from behind. As much as I appreciate my inspiring fans, I'm going to have to ask you to not interpret my art so literally, as in no murdering. Remele springs off the troll's back after clawing him and rolls to the side, avoiding his swinging fist. She grabs for his club, which is almost as long as she is tall, but before she can use it, his next blow catches her below the ribcage, sending her flying across the alley and into the brick wall. She's on her feet again fast, but you can tell that she's injured, and now she doesn't have the element of surprise on her side. The purple blood turns his back on you as he closes in on Remele, laughing again. You can't let him kill her, not when she came back for you, but you have no idea how you can help here. Your eyes land on Remele's bag, tossed to the side in the melee, and in desperation you grab a loose paintbrush that rolled out of it. You dive forward with a battle cry and stab the end of the paintbrush deep into the high blood's calf. Violet blood squirts you in the face. He yells, and you manage to roll away just in time to avoid getting smacked. The slight stab wound hasn't slowed him down much, but it's giving Remele a chance to dive out of his range, and while he's still trying to grab you, she gets a hold of his club again. She's stronger than she looks, strong enough to get a good wind-up with that thing, and when he turns toward her, she brings it down hard onto his skull. It takes a few more good smashes before the troll finally stops grunting and twitching. Remele breathes heavily, wiping blood splatter off her forehead. She looks up, meeting your eyes. You are absolutely positive that this is the most dramatic way you have ever been rescued. You can't believe she came back and risked her life for you. Don't mention it. I needed an accomplice, right? She drops the club and staggers over to you. pausing to spit out Krullian blood. You remember that she took some damage and hurry to support her, offering your weak human arm to lean on. Is she going to be okay? I'll be fine. Krullians are tough to cull, even for a wannabe subjugulator. She tilts her head, looking down at the way her blood swirls with the larger quantities of purple blood pooling on the asphalt. Huh. That's actually not bad as an artiste medium. The colors and textures work well together. Maybe that blue blood kid from Chitter is onto something. Anyway, thanks for rubbing my back with that paintbrush. That took some quick thinking. We make an OK team. I've never killed anyone before, but that kind of ruled, didn't it? You're not sure that you would choose those exact words, but you're pretty relieved right now. You might not have the bloodthirsty glint in your eyes that Remele does, but maybe you can interpret your adrenaline shakes as euphoric overload or something. Hell yeah, me too. And see why people get into this killing business. If I wasn't such a great artiste, I'd consider switching careers. But sometimes when you're good at too many things, you have to pick one and stick to it. So no professional assassinations for me. I'm still determined to rub the shit out of my competitors though. And you, now that we killed someone together, it just makes sense for us to stay partners in crime, right? Your heart leaps at the implication that she wants to stick together. You truly do not mind breaking every law in the books if it means she'll be your friend. Nice. We probably don't need to go around breaking every law. I just want to steal some art. But maybe we can reschedule the heist for another day. This neighborhood will be crawling with drones as soon as they realize a Highblood was killed. You feel bad for this troll attempting slaughter you ruined Remele's gallery opening. Oh, are you kidding? My customer base loves this kind of shit. My art will get even more of a violent reputation when word gets out that someone died at my first gallery show. That's metal as fuck. You limp out of the alley, supporting Remele with your arm around her waist. She directs you to the back entrance of her gallery, where the two of you can clean off the blood and hide until the drones and the crowds are gone. If you don't mind, you can lie low at my place for a few days while we plan this heist. I might as well get some work done while we wait and scheme. That fight was pretty inspiring. You're already my accomplice, so how would you feel about also being my muse? Victory! More blood! Yay! Sweet. Alright. Now on to the other one. Konyyl. Konyyl? Konyyl. Konyyl Okima. I'm butchering the names. I know. Right now, your travels have brought you to what appears to be a normal road in an innocuous part of town. Not particularly upscale, but not exactly a rat trap either. Just pretty average. A row of those spiky purple bushes line the side of the road, and behind one of them stands a large, fierce troll who's glancing furtively up and down the street. Okay, that's less average. Hey, are you her? Huh? I mean, are you her? Are you the one... Are you who I'm waiting here for? Well... Your first instinct is definitely tell her that yes, of course you are her... Of course you are who she's been waiting for, provided she's been waiting for a new friend. But honestly, you aren't sure your stick is going to work on this girl. Of course not. What was I thinking? So infuriating. She's so late and I'm so bored. Do you think she's coming soon? You don't know who she means, but you suggest that she might be more comfortable waiting somewhere that isn't a spiky purple shrub. Don't be stupid. My clients value discretion. I have to lay low. The shrub hardly manages to cover her, and standing behind it and shouting is definitely not making her less conspicuous. Neither is asking random passerby whether they are her client. Not that you can talk. Accosting people left and right and asking them to be your friend is kind of your whole deal. Ugh. If you aren't Country Lady 453, then who is? Country Lady 453? That almost sounds like... Sorry I'm late, I couldn't... What in tarnation? You know that genteel charm anywhere. Well, my stars. I definitely wasn't expecting to see you around here. What a masterful coincidence. You are incredibly glad to see Skyla, and Lady too, all unkidnapped and everything. You give Skyla a hug, which she enthusiastically returns. She nearly picks you up off your feet, and Lady shoves her nose against your neck and gives you a few sloppy licks. Who the heck are you? I have business at this bush. Maybe find your own. Sorry, but I'm the business your bush has been looking for. Wait, what? You're a country lady. The very same. Name's Skyla Corriga. Pleasure to meet you. Ugh, I didn't think you'd be a bronze. I'd gotten that before, honestly. Also, by the by, this concerns them too. She puts a hand on your shoulder. It does? It does. Sure enough. They were there when it happened. They even helped me fight off the varmints who tried to take my Lucis. Right, yeah, you said something about that in your message. But I don't get it. What do you want me to do? Right, well, the bandits didn't get Lady, but other kids haven't been so lucky. Little Bloods have been hit especially hard. I want you to find the bandit's base of operations, and I want you to take them out. Permanently and painfully. Konnyll's mouth moves silently, like she is trying to reason through the steps of Skyla's conversation. Then she catches up, and a slow grin spreads over her face. Yeah, I like painful and permanent. But wait, you want me to get revenge for someone else's Lucis? Why? Well, the few of us got together and decided to do something about it ourselves. Since there's no hope of the heiress or the drones doing anything to stop the bandits, and they all elected me as spokestroll, seeing as how I'm the oldest and least easily spooked or shook. Okay, sure. I guess the why isn't important. How much you got? How much you willing to throw down? Doubt any lowbloods can afford my fees, let alone a bunch of country rusties. Lady starts to growl, and Skyla puts a pacifying hand on her head. Everything's fine, lady. We expected this, didn't we? We were hoping you'd be willing to do it out of the goodness of your blood pusher. Konnyl laughs so hard that she spits. Skyla winces. You got a pan disorder. If you think I take any charity cases. I don't work for pretty smiles. Keep your compliments to yourself, Missy. That wasn't... I didn't mean to say that out loud. Why don't you go find the bandits yourself? You know full well I don't have the means. But you do. It'd be a walk in the recreation field for you. If you weren't so nasty and selfish. Or maybe you're scared. I'll show you scared. Oh, hell, they look like they're about to throw down. You gotta do something to defuse the situation. Ask Konnyl if she works on spec. What? I don't work on spec. I'm only licensed on Eternia. Just kidding, I don't have a license. You explain to Konnyl that working on spec means doing some work for free in hopes that you are going to be paid later. You say it's unlikely that the bandits only go after Luci. That would be totally ridiculous when there's so many other things in the world to steal. Like, money. They probably have just heaps of money in their hideout. And if she breaks in, she can have it all. Skyla doesn't want it. She just wants to save the Luci. And you are so dang convincing that you almost convince yourself. I'm not so sure. Sounds like you might be trying to fuck me over. You let out a scandalized gasp to convey just what an untoward accusation that is. You are shocked. Shocked! Fine! Anything to get away from this stupid bush. She kicks the prickly purple shrub so hard it uproots and sails across the street to land on the hood of someone's car. But you're coming with me. I'm gonna hold you then. And there's no money, then I'll hold you tighter. Squeeze! Till your weirdly colored eyes pop out! Yikes! You believe it too. She could definitely do that. But here's your chance. You got tons of success stories proving that forced exposure is really the best way to get people to like you. Sounds just peachy. When do we leave? Konnyl kicks at another bush. She seems to have an anger management problem. Well, you guess she is managing it. She's taking it out on the shrubbery instead of you or Skyla. We aren't doing anything. You aren't coming. They starts growling again, and Skyla looks like she wants to join in. Excuse me? Konnyl gets up in her face, moving way faster than someone her size seems like she should be able to do. You aren't coming! You'll just get in my way! You're distracting! Skyla's mouth twitches just the tiniest bit. That is not what I meant! You keep tricking me! I just meant that you'll probably stop to save some bark beast wigglers. And guess I'll called! Skyla crosses her arms and tosses her hair. Fine. I'm counting on you two. You figure that the information gathering stage of the operation is next. You've seen heist movies. You know how this shit works. Or you know how shit works. But Konnyl just shouts at someone on her palm husk for a while, then punches some coordinates into a car that you're pretty sure isn't hers. It takes you to the outskirts of the city, past long stretches of cracked concrete and urban sprawl. Not exactly the place you'd expect to find bandits who steal farm animals. You point this out to Konnyl. She tells you shut up, so you do. You leave the car and walk the last few blocks. The bandits' operation is honestly not super impressive. It's a long industrial structure that looks more like a manufacturing plant than a den of thieves. Beside it is something much more impressive, a steel black spacecraft. Not like yours. This is the Mercedes-Benz to your banged-up Chevy Malibu. Even before you crash-landed it, that thing was a hunk of junk. Oh, holy shit! Is that an adult? What, the ship? No, dingus! Followed her frenzied gaze. And oh, right, the troll beside the ship is taller than anyone else you've seen here. Her skin is a darker gray, her claws incredibly long. If everyone you've met so far has been a kid, wow, they all deal with stuff that even adults on your planet don't. Routine death, dismemberment, and like 4 different relationship dynamics. If there really are no mature trolls here, then where are they? Wait, hold up! You're saying where you're from you live with adults? Yeah? You all live on the same planet? Sure do. Well, maybe you're tougher than you look. Adults are terrifying. Come on, let's get closer. You and Konnyl sidle up close enough to the trolls to overhear them haggling over stolen goods. So far, the conversation is too general to tell if they mean the Lucii. Damn, they must have globes of steel. Talking back to an adult. I mean, I am great at rushing in without giving it any thought, but I'm not a total moron. The 2 trolls appear to come to an agreement. They shake hands and hang back into the warehouse together. So what do you think? What should we do? Huh? You? Konnyl's the expert here. Yeah, no shit! For punching! I'm also good at slashing, but Daja always does the thinking. And the planning. He's the one with the I-beams and the big think pan. Don't tell him I said that. Please? You sure that you couldn't tell Daja anything at all, because you don't know who he is? Oh, right. Daja is a frustrating Bulge Lord loser who sucks so bad. Also, he's my mate Sprit, and we have been together for sweeps. He's supposed to be here, but he's off busy doing some dumb bullshit. So I need you to be the pants of the operation, okay? Please, do this for me. Oh dear. Follow the buyer into the warehouse. You decide to follow him into the warehouse. That way, at least you won't be trapped in a confined space if anyone comes back to check on the ship. You decide to do some James Bond-ass shit, ducking behind corners and saying, "Cover me." Maybe executing some sick rolls down the hallway. You can't really do gymnastics even when you aren't healing from broken ribs, but fancy James Bond, you sure can. Konnyl doesn't bother with any of that. She just stomps down the hallway toward the first door. Damn, she really hadn't been joking when she said she was more into the straightforward approach. You pick up speed to try and get to the door before she does, just to prevent her from charging in there and getting you both caught immediately. Good thing, too. Through the window in the door, you can see what looks like some kind of break room. A couple of trolls are messing around on their palm husk, and a few more are sitting at a table and playing some kind of game that involves cards, dice, and little colorful shells. Oh, come on, there's not even that many! We can take them! Ah! I forgot you weren't my partner, you're just dead weight. No real argument there. Paula told you that most pros work together for a reason. It's much harder on your own. You wonder if Konnyl would have been so hot to take the job if it hadn't been for Skyla's vibes. Yeah, that's the word, vibes. They were vibing. You have to do this. You have to rally. Konnyl is already losing faith in you. Or maybe she had no faith in you in the first place. Whatever. You choose a different door at random and go down it, assuring Konnyl that you definitely know what the fuck you are doing. What? Not! Where are you going? You've been down this road before, with Damien and your meat quest through the sewers, but this is possibly slightly higher stakes, but the same basic principle applies. Fake it till you make it. Konnyl gets annoyed much faster than your other friend. If her sub-vocalizations are anything to go by, damn. Damn, you really need to step up your game. You think back on all the heist and infiltration movies you've seen. Maybe you can find a locker room or a troll laundry room and find one of those SWAT/hazmat suits. Yeah, that would be the best plan. Just put on a disguise and wander around like a sneaky fucking— oh god damn it. You were so busy You're so busy focusing on your brilliant plan that you open a door without thinking, find yourself looking at the trolls playing the card game. Somehow on your random quest through the warehouse, you manage to double back on yourself and come out on the other side of the break room. Classic. This is classic you. You're almost charmed by yourself. Almost. There's a frozen moment wherein all the bandits just stare at you and Konnyl, perhaps taking in the truly staggering idiot level you have achieved. Thank fuck! We should have just done this from the beginning! You've gotten into quite a few fights since arriving on this planet. Well, mostly you've stood around while other people fought. But the point is, Konnyl. She is brutal. She takes out almost the same number of bandits that you, Skyla, and Lady did in a quarter of the time. Multicolored blood flies. And God, you know that these are bad guys. They've been stealing Lusa and sung them, which sucks! But right now, they're kind of just a bunch of kids getting massacred. You don't feel great about it? In fact, you think you might need to sit down for a little bit. Your back hits the wall and you slide down to the dirty floor. You are clammy all over. Ha! Pathetic! Konnyl pulls her gauntlet out of the final troll's neck with a spray of yellow blood and a squelch that makes your stomach roll. She notices you on the ground. What are you? Ah! Are you serious? Come on! You try to tell her that she volunteered you for the mission herself, but you can't slow your breathing enough to get words out. You aren't sure why now is the time you finally freak out. Maybe it's the close quarters, or maybe you've been on Eternia long enough for this multicolored mess to finally start registering as blood. Maybe you've reached your horror saturation point. Whatever. If you've learned anything from this experience, it's that the why of things doesn't actually matter. Konnyl looms over you, raising gauntlet. She's gonna kill you. At least, if you're dead, you can't puke on yourself. But instead of brutal stabbing, you feel a steady pressure on the back of your neck. Konnyl pushes your head down until it's between your knees. Take slower breaths, idiot! You follow her instructions. Two lightheads dwell on the absurdity of being coached through a panic attack by a girl who just murdered like 10 dudes. She's surprisingly good at this. Heh. Dasha freaked out his first fight too. Wasn't even bloody. And the little wriggler passed out. I guess some blood casts really are better built for violence. She sits down beside you and pats you on the back. You kind of wish she'd taken the bloody gauntlet off first, but you appreciate the gesture. You were having a hard time reconciling this Konnyl with the one who had snarled at Skyla for being too nice. I'm multifaceted. Also, fuck her! Which reminds me, she pulls her phone out of her pocket, smearing a little olive blood across the screen. Quarter guy, I got your bandits! She talks a lot louder on the phone than she does in real life. Yeah, no shit! Of course I work fast. Especially when I don't have anyone to slow me down with a bunch of tactics and plans. Ah! Save it for Christmas. Christmases? Christmases! She hangs up and glares at the phone. You tell her she really seems to hate Skyla. Kyle's face goes a fierce shade of green. Don't be stupid. I barely know her. You don't press the issue. You also don't point out the kind of obvious point that these probably aren't the only trolls in the facility. The one who had been haggling with the adult isn't here, for instance. But if Konnyl forgetting about them means less murder, you are all about it. There's no way the bandits are continuing their work after this. Konnyl also seems to have forgotten about the fact that she came in here looking to be paid, and nope, she's looting the bodies. Great. It's a lot messier and takes way longer in real life than it does in video games. In the end, she ends up with 5 palm husks, a laptop, some jewelry, and some little squares of plastic that you think might be sci-fi credit cards. Whatever. Spare anything here. But that fight made it pretty worth it. Well, you're glad it was good for somebody, at least. We were just trying to not think about it and maybe get outside as fast as possible. Whatever Konnyl wants to do with your outstanding debt at that point, well, you can square up out there. Yeah, don't worry about that. I'm not actually gonna squeeze you. It would just be too easy. Like squishing a march bug. Fuck yes, saved by being pitiful. I doubt you have any money anyway. I mean, you are wearing an absolution robe. True. Kinda helps you 2 feet. You kinda want to ask if we're friends now, even though the only bonding activity you've done together is combined murdering and comforting, which, with her doing both of those things and you sitting there like a dumbass. But really, you've made friends with the worst people, for worse reasons. Oh, here. Why don't you take one of these? She hands you one of the palm husks. Thankfully, it only has a little bit of blood on it. Actually, it might be mustard. Like, the actual condiment. But she's giving you a phone? Why? You don't have one, right? I mean, you don't even have any pants. This way we can keep in touch. And you can tell me if you have any more jobs with an excellent violence level. Like this one. Here, let's exchange info. Palm husks are really useful. You can use them to call people and everything. You aren't sure if she's making a joke. Possibly she just thinks you're an idiot. That's okay. You can deal with that. Because not only did you make a friend today, you got a gift today. Holy shit. You killed it. Victory! Write my number. Yay! Sweet. So that was volume 7 of Hiveswap Friendsim. What a great volume, as have been the rest. But that'll be all for that volume and for this video. In the next one, we will tackle volume 8, and we are already halfway through the 14 volumes. Yay! Anyways, if you liked the video, like it. If you want to see more of my content, make sure to subscribe. And check out my other videos while you wait for the next upload. Have a good day and do your best. See ya!